All right, the third quarter, third hour kicks off right now on this Tuesday morning of June 16th. It is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday morning, so if you've got something that is grinding your gears, you can let us know. We'll get to those coming up a little bit later on. So, what else do we got on the docket here? We're going to catch up with RJ Cardinal here in just a little bit. We'll talk some Badger football with him, take a look at this 2027 recruiting class that is getting a lot of attention and a lot of love right now. So we'll get his thoughts on that and talk a little bit about that. Also, we'll talk some more college stuff with him too. So that's coming up. We'll get back to some more Brewers talk here, as well as we get set for game one of their series against the Guardians tonight. Cooper Pratt, by all accounts, will make his debut tonight for the Brewers as well. So if you want to tune into that game, 6:40 first pitch. Coverage will begin 35 minutes prior on your radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. What else we got? We got 1 week away from the NBA draft, and we're focusing more so on will he, won't we? Is it the final countdown for Giannis and the Bucks to make a move, to make a decision? Still up in the air. We don't know. There's reports, there's rumors, there's rumblings, but there's nothing really concrete out there. So let's just kind of switch gears here a little bit. And since we're a week away from the NBA draft, what are some of the names out there that are being attached to the Bucks? If we look at some NBA mock drafts, let's just kind of switch gears. Everybody wants to know what's going on with Giannis. I want to know what's going on with Giannis. We all want to know what's going on with Giannis. But what about the draft? The Bucks have a top 10 pick. They got the 10th overall pick as of right now. Who could they go? Where could they go with this pick? All right, if you scour some of the mock drafts, here's a couple of names. So if you look at ESPN's latest one, they've got Nate Ament, the forward from Tennessee. To read their little write-up, it says, teams and agents around the league view the likelihood of a Giannis trade as the offseason's first domino, with the league-wide transaction wheel in a holding pattern until the Bucks make a deal. Milwaukee appears headed towards a retool and continues to signal around the league that it plans to wind up with multiple first-round selections on draft night. Nate's draft range has remained on the wider side. The Nets at 6 are seen as a realistic high end, but scenarios are also in play in which he falls into the second half of the lottery. Teams say he has been selective about scheduling workouts, declining to visit multiple teams in the top 10. From a best available perspective, he should be in play for the Bucks at number 10. What strategy Milwaukee takes could depend on how many picks it winds up with and where. But the Bucks have an obvious need for backcourt talent and could also target a guard. They are also familiar with the next tier of point guards, including Christian Anderson and Filion Jr., and could address the position later in the draft if they acquire additional picks. Okay, that's more about Giannis stuff. Yahoo Sports mock draft does have the Bucks going with a guard with the 10th overall pick. Kingston Flemings from Houston. The Bucks have been signaling to people around the league that they could have multiple first-round picks on draft night. There you go. There's another source indicating that. While this could be a leverage tactic in trade talks with teams interested in Giannis and a negotiation tactic with agents as an attempt to schedule more workouts, there certainly are a lot of signals that Milwaukee does indeed have some strong offers on the table for Giannis. The Bucks should take a swing to jumpstart their new era, whether or not Giannis is a part of it. Flemings could be that type of bet since he plays with surgical mid-range touch, an explosive first step, and the passing vision of a true point guard who can run an offense. But Flemings is also 183 pounds in mid-range heavy in a three-point league. And he watched his efficiency crater against the stiffest competition late in the season. The question is whether his scoring package translates against NBA length and spacing, or whether opposing scouts figure him out the same way late season defenses did. Still, he brings incredible effort and passion to the floor and will likely maximize whatever he's going to become. Let me see if I can find another one. We got another. I'm trying to find some different names that have been attached to the Bucks. Nate, the kid from Tennessee, Nate, though, has been really mocked to the Bucks since day one when we got through the ping pong balls. That has been a very, very popular pick, the 6'10 wing player forward. So this is from USA Today. What do they got here? Just scrolling through for the Bucks. They've got Mara from Michigan. That's the other one too that I've seen. The big man from Michigan. So, all right, if you're looking at mock drafts when it comes to the Bucks here and trying to figure out who could they be targeting, it's a wide range. You got a big man, you got a forward, a wing player who's 6'10", and then you got a guard. It's all because, well, I think a lot of these mock drafts are operating under the assumption that Giannis will be traded. So it's almost best player available. Honestly, it should be best player available to begin with. I don't know how to approach this draft as a Bucks fan. Right now, I don't know how to approach it. That could change any minute depending on what we find out from the whole Giannis thing. Because I think there's two ways you have to approach this. Multiple different ways you have to approach this. You keep in Giannis, okay. Does that take away certain positions of need? Maybe you don't need to get a 6'10 wing player then. Focus on the guard play. You trade Giannis, you got multiple picks, load up. Then that opens up the door for multiple spots. If you trade Giannis, I would rather have the approach, okay, everybody's for sale. Everybody on our current roster is for sale. And retool it, rebuild it, however you want to phrase it that way. Just kind of, I think those are the two paths that you have to go down. The one path, we keep Giannis. This is our draft approach. If we have Giannis, what's the biggest need that we need to pair him up with? Is it that guard? Is it a point guard? A true point guard? All right, we don't have Giannis. We have multiple first-round picks. All right, now let's sell some more. Maybe that includes a Miles Turner, a Bobby Portis, whatever assets that they have, a Kyle Kuzma if they can find somebody to take him, and just go that route. I'd rather have them. These are the only two ways. And honestly, I understand both of them. There's a part of me, I'm split, okay? As a fan, I'm split. I want to see Giannis stay with the Bucks for his whole career, but I'm also a realist in knowing that that's probably not going to happen. Giannis makes the Bucks relevant. I would love to see Giannis continue to play for the Bucks, and part of it is, well, being a dad, and that's my kid's favorite player on his favorite team. So I want to see that happen, but I also understand, okay, this thing has gone on far enough. We've got ourselves into the weeds here a little bit. Kind of have to tear it down to build it back up. Yeah, I see what the Spurs have done. I've seen what the Thunder have done. Heck, even the Knicks to an extent too a little bit. And I kind of want that, but that's not a given. That's not a guarantee that it's going to happen. And do we trust John Horst and such to make those moves? Now, I was reminded of this the other day. I saw this clip. Remember when Jalen Brunson signed that contract? Was it a couple years ago? And it was, I mean, he got paid. He got a lot of money. But the thought was that he left some money on the table to leave more money for the Knicks to help build a roster. And somebody reminded me of that the other day. I was watching a clip or a video clip somewhere, and I'm like, I kind of forgot about that. And I'm surprised that's not maybe more of a talking point right now. And I think you look at that, and I think, now that Knicks fans, you got your championship. Jalen Brunson was a big reason for it, but he also kind of left some money on the table to help the Knicks maybe go out there and get more players. I think if you asked a lot of sports fans of their teams for their superstars, they'd like to see their guys do the same. But that's the exception and not the norm. All right, we got to take a quick break, but we'll be back with Mr. R.J. Cardinal. We'll take a quick break and be back in just a couple minutes. Looking for the perfect summer hangout? Well, then make your way on over to the VFW Post 305 located in Eau Claire. You can enjoy the beautiful views overlooking the river, some great food, cold beverages, and some of the best live music that you will find anywhere in the Chippewa Valley. Whether you're meeting some friends after work or spending a summer evening outdoors, the VFW Post 305 is the place to be. And don't forget, they've got their Father's Day brunch going on this Sunday. So if you're looking to take dad out or your husband or grandpa, uncle, whatever it may be, check out the VFW Post 305's Father's Day brunch. You can see their menu if you go to their Facebook page. All right, let's switch gears here a little bit and talk some college sports, college football, and all that good stuff. First of all, let's say good morning to our guy, Mr. R.J. Cardinal. Good morning, R.J. How you doing, bud?
Good morning. Pretty good. How are you doing?
Not bad, dude. Not bad. So I want to talk some Badger 2027 football recruiting with you. But first off, I want to lead it off. Do you think we're finally done now with the Sorsby drama, since he's going to be entering the supplemental draft in the NFL? I mean, is this kind of we're kind of done with this now? We don't have to worry about it?
It seems like it, because he's also his lawyers are withdrawing the dropping the case, or the suing, or the whatever we're calling it, of the NCAA, and effectively making him ineligible for Texas Tech and college football this coming season, and filing papers to enter the supplemental draft. So it'll be interesting to see who wants to have him on their roster.
Right.
It's just one of those, as you move forward now, it becomes what is his career and his professional life going to look like, and what round, I guess, will somebody take him in the supplemental draft? Because, quite frankly, a quarterback with a gambling addiction doesn't seem like somebody you want to have leading your franchise. But it took us this long to find out it was happening, so who knows what's going to happen. And if the league is going to slap him with any mandatory things like counseling or rehab or anything like that, in terms of being able to participate in the NFL, even after he's now going to be filing paperwork to get drafted in the supplemental draft. And that in itself is a crapshoot anyway. So
right.
It'll be interesting to see this whole process play out now. But I think at some level, cooler heads prevailed after Texas Tech made the whole push for him to play, then didn't understand why everybody was upset, and just looked at it as them throwing money around to make sure everybody was eligible to have their best chances of winning. Then when you had the entire NCAA, including their own conference, start talking about how to go about scheduling, now that a team that is openly cheating when you can pay players, I'm not sure how we want to classify what Texas Tech was doing in terms of where they were filing. Almost every judge they could file with was a Texas Tech grad. So it's just a weird situation that was playing out that, I mean, in all terms, hopefully this was a case of them not listening to their PR people, and not that their PR people were telling him, "Oh no, this all works out. It's fine."
Man, what a crazy, crazy story. So it's, unbelievable. All right, let's move over to Badger football, though, because I know last week we didn't get a chance to kind of really deep dive into this thing, but it sure seems like, RJ, that Luke Fickell and this team is kind of hitting it right now. 24/7 Sports has the 2027 class ranked 16th overall with this. So who are some of the names that really kind of jump out to you as part of this 2027 football class?
Well, I mean, you had the first 10 were all the in-state kids, so that was awesome to see. And we've talked about it before. There are years where, your top offensive talent is going to be a mid to low end 3-star. That's just what it is in Wisconsin. But usually you see Wisconsin landing the linemen here, at least both offensive and defensive linemen. It's something that's been a thing for a long time. A couple of coaches got away from it. And I'm not sure what happened at the beginning of the tenure of Fickell, but some of those in-state classes weren't the best to be playing Big Ten Division I football, and the ones that were legacies elsewhere or decided a long time ago they weren't going to be going to Wisconsin. So there was some things in play there that just made it a perfect storm where Wisconsin wasn't offering a lot of in-state kids. Then this time around, who's to say NIL isn't also playing into the role here, but it does seem when Coors Loken decided and opted for Wisconsin that at least when you have a 4-star tight end, people nationally start taking notice, especially when he can, on national television, say he's picking Wisconsin. And then, so that, I think that was the real catalyst here, even if he's not, the highest ranked guy in the class now. At the time he was, then you had Kingston Allen come in from Notre Dame Academy. And so that rounded out, and the Mallinger brothers, and you just go down the list, and everybody from the state, it's one of those pride things for the fans here, being like, yes, you finally are doing it. But it's also something I think this year was a good year for talent in the state. So it looks better optically as well, because it was still putting Wisconsin, I think, in the 20s with just the in-state kids. And like we've talked about, when official season started, official visit season, people got here. It wasn't what they expected. They loved the campus. They loved the city. The coaching staff, I mean, that's going to the one coaching staff, I got to know them really well. I mean, that's their job. If they're not putting up a good face to a recruit, what good are they even as a coach if they can't? It's going to blow smoke up kids' butts just to make them feel good and say yes to coming here. But, I mean, a couple of weeks ago we talked about Mekhi Williams, who was committed to Florida State, but since one of his coaches who he was really into got fired, Wisconsin was kind of in the background talking to him, all that the whole time, not trying to recruit him. But then when that storm happened, they put on a press, and so he technically flipped on his first official visit to Wisconsin, and is now at least on Badgers 247 is the highest ranked recruit in the class. You got a couple other kids who, since we last talked, committed. I think we added another in-state kid from Pewaukee. What's his name? Interior lineman, Jack Tabbert. And he was committed to North Dakota State and came to a lineman camp, so not even an official visit. The staff liked what they saw, offered him, and he flipped from North Dakota State to Wisconsin. The Badgers have had some good luck for at least 4 times for guys out of Pewaukee that are off the top of your head, the 3 Watt brothers and Chris McIntosh. You have a couple of whether, first, second, third team All-Americans in there, and It sounds bad to say, and then you have Derek Watt.
Yeah.
So they did pretty well, and in his role here, and I'm not trying to downplay Derek Watt at all, but with those other three from Pewaukee being All-Americans, and then you have then you're just like, and I'm Derek, but he was awesome here. So not trying to put him down in any way, shape, or form, but yeah. So they went into Arizona, got 3 guys out of there, along a couple of edge rushers, a D lineman, a linebacker. So it's a class that's rounding out, and 22 is a lot. So it'll be interesting to see now, because there's still official visits coming and all that, where this class is going to end up. I mean, it could be one of those. There's going to be a lot of offers, and then things are going to shake out and all that. But I think there's now 5 or 6 O linemen in this class. That's not a bad thing. But yeah, it's a class that's starting to shape up pretty good position-wise for things Wisconsin will end up needing, as well as, I mean, depending on where you look, one of the guys out of Arizona is a wide receiver, Jones, who's he's anywhere from a high 3 to a middle 4-star wide receiver. So, I mean, that was a good get. It'll be interesting to see now where this offense evolves, because the perception of talent coming in through the transfer portal, and as well as what we've seen now on the recruiting side and keeping guys. So hopefully a year under something that will look like what they actually want to run, because when they got down to Carter Smith last year, they admittedly said we had to kind of take things down, not because of Carter Smith not being good or smart or anything like that. They just had to. So it'll be interesting to see with the whole playbook what kind of things Wisconsin can do this year, because with this class, it's one of those you really don't want to end up seeing Wisconsin maybe have a losing season and then lose out on a recruiting class like this, even though everybody seems to think with Fickle on the hot seat, if he does get fired, the next logical choice is Jason Eck down at New Mexico. But, I mean, we don't even have an AD yet, so who knows what mindset that person will have as as this season goes on. But hopefully you see kind of the recruiting class, and if there's any resemblance of improvement, and I mean that could be getting 7 wins and making a bowl game rather than going 6-6 and limping into a bowl game. Who knows if, in the eyes of the new AD, if just making a bowl game is going to be successful, because that becomes a stepping stone for the program moving forward, at least. So yeah, it'll be fun to watch. It'll be like we said last week, you can get excited about the people at least verbally committing. But I mean, we all know in this day and age, as quote unquote recruiting goes on, somebody might get a better offer elsewhere and might end up decommitting for one reason or another. Or if they're watching and they get kind of depressed on what a team's looking like, if it's having a bad season, and somebody gets in their ear and been like, do you really want to be there? You get a decommitment because of the wins and losses. So hopefully that doesn't happen. And we can see this class come to fruition.
I know there's not a whole lot about the athletic director search, and unless you've heard rumors or rumblings and such, but what I wanted to ask you was, Alan Fish, this was a week ago or so, and, was a part of UW Athletics, big part of, Barry Alvarez and Pat Richter and such, but he made some comments last week saying that I do worry that we're doing it backwards again, talking about the athletic director search. He said, quote, "We're better off holding on the athletic director position until the chancellor job is filled permanently so that the chancellor can bring in their own athletic director, because the relationship is so critical. Would you agree with his advice, or do you think it just the timing wise, they've got to go out there and they've got to figure out who their athletic director is sooner rather than later?
I was really with Al Fish. It doesn't make sense. Like we had talked, it's when a team drafts a quarterback and then immediately fires the head coach, or a head coach in his first year, even though it's the last year of a GM who was struggling and had to do a Hail Mary. You know, it's like that's the kind of situation it seems Wisconsin will be in. And like, I think a chancellor should be hired first, but then also we don't have a University of Wisconsin president of the entire system. Mm-hmm. So it becomes like there's a backlog here of jobs that would need to be hired before an AD. So it makes it difficult because you can't wait for all of that. But it makes it pretty hard because you can't have an interim AD like going in for an entire year, because that guy's not going to be making it'd be hard for that person to justifiably make decisions that are affecting other people who will be here in the future. And it's kind of a messy situation. And I think a chancellor should be hired first, but I mean, it's really one of those, I don't understand how one hasn't yet. I mean, there's been a whole lot of a whole lot of time to start the search, and usually you hear of them like getting hired right away. Well, hopefully you have a chancellor who admittedly likes athletics this time, because I mean, heck, you saw what happened with UCLA athletics when Manukin was there. I mean, they're downhill, but all of a sudden their money-making sports are coming back up after she's gone. Hopefully that can also happen with Wisconsin. Now, granted, only really football has gone there. Part of it also, I think the athletic department's lack of trying in the NIL, where they thought having people like you and me being the ones to donate money was a good idea. But yeah, the athletic department as a whole right now seems a little backwards, but it's it's hard to say why they're doing it this way. Mm-hmm. But if they feel it needs to be a position that is in place as soon as possible, I guess in terms of getting money coming into the athletic department, even though it seems to be coming in right now, and who knows if it's at the expense of somebody taking a job in Chicago or not, and some people are happy about that. I don't know. But an influx of money does seem to be coming in right now, and maybe a new AD could increase that money flow.
Mm-hmm. All right. RJ, good stuff as always, buddy. We appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of the week, sir, and we'll catch up with you again next week, okay?
Yeah, sounds good. We will talk to you then.
You got it. RJ Cardinal, great stuff as always with our dude, Mr. RJ Cardinal from down in Madison. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll be back with plenty more coming up after these few words. Summer is here, and that means it is the perfect time to give your home a fresh new look with Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. Whether you are updating a family room, finishing a basement, refreshing a bedroom, or finally tackling that remodeling project that you have been putting off, Carpet City Flooring Center has the flooring options you've been looking for. From beautiful luxury vinyl planks to carpet, tile, and so much more, you'll find quality products and expert guidance every single step of the way. Their experienced team will help you find the right flooring to fit your home style, your budget, and your lifestyle. And with professional installation available, your project can be completed quickly and correctly. Make this the summer you transform your home. Stop on into Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire today and discover why so many area homeowners trust Carpet City Flooring Center for all of their flooring needs. How much have you been following the World Cup in the first go? From what I have been seeing from people, they are pleasantly happy how games are really competitive so far, it seems like.
So far, the games are fun. I've only actually watched a little bit of a few games, but it's early enough on. Like that's the usual thing for me. I want to watch games that are of big significance. So obviously the knockout round as we get closer to the final. The final, of course, I'm going to be watching it unless my family requires me to be off on some trip somewhere. I will be watching it. But following along on social media, and I keep it down to like a few sports people I follow, that has picked up dramatically. And again, that's your bubble of who do you choose to follow. But they'll talk about other sports stuff, and a lot of people are getting all in that little subset. I have to imagine that's crossing over. The thing I'm also, it's been pointed out a little bit, and I'm noticing to see if you're noticing this as well, that once the games start, it's been this flip to, okay, it's games, it's action, and the controversies, while they may still be around, way lessen in terms of importance. And that has happened. We see this effect many times. I should have figured this probably would happen here with the Olympics. You hear about, it costs too much money, logistical problems and infrastructure and
food.
Oh my gosh, this is all going to be terrible. Then the game's starting like, all right, who's going to win? And that's what we focus on for 2 weeks. I think the same is happening with the World Cup now. Of course, several more weeks to go, and other non-soccer related things could happen, like they could happen with the Olympics. But so far, it's happening. There's one person I follow who follows like economics and stuff, and he's been posting the images of the get-in prices for these sort of games. You had, I think, like the Haiti game in Atlanta or something recently, and it was still like about $200-$300 to get in. Like, really, still? But he noted they were going down, down, down. But instead of the bottom falling out, across the board, they're going zip right back up at the last second. The prices haven't careened. They're going way upwards. Probably. Why? Maybe because we're spread out. That was one theory I saw laid out. That unlike some other countries where everything is close together, you can kind of pick and choose. I won't go to this one. Here, if you want to see a World Cup game, you got a stadium nearby you. Mm-hmm. And I mean, not United States isn't humongous. It's not like 2 continents, but it's still pretty big. So if you want to see something, kind of have to choose. And the diasporas, I'm hearing that term a lot, obviously, because of all the people from around the world that are scattered throughout the United States. Well, you've got your cores all over the place. They can go and check out all the games. So I think that's why the vibes are better. And then, like you said, the actual sport itself, the game itself, the athletes, it's pretty good. It's fun seeing like Cape Verde do what it did the other day and tie Spain. Like this is fun. I guess the New Zealand-Iran game was like people were running all over the place last night. I mean, sure, that neither team is going to come anywhere close to winning the World Cup. But this is kind of like Thursday and Friday of March Madness. That's the best comp to it. You're getting some random exciting games in there. So have you watched any, or are you just kind of following along?
Just following along.
Same.
Right now.
Okay.
Just obviously with Team USA Friday night, there was something else going on that was drawing the attention of Wisconsin fans and Jacob Mizorowski's performance. So that, I was kind of paying off and on attention to it, but the Miz was sucking me in. So,
yeah,
like a lot of people, I think, at least
understandably so. Yeah.
So, but yeah, kind of like you, I think the deeper it gets, get a little bit more. I want that drama part. I want some drama involved with like games though. Like I want some rivalries. I want some intense stuff and all that.
I mean, if you get some of like the big names, if like Spain and Germany and England and France and Brazil. I mean, it's like any other sport. Mm-hmm. Duke and North Carolina, the Cowboys, and insert whichever, all of that. Packers, Bears, that sort of Celtics, Lakers. You could pick any one of those. Yankees, Red Sox.
I will say this, and I don't think he minds me but I did have a friend that was at a local establishment on Friday night to kind of check out the scene, the soccer scene and that. And he's not a soccer fan. Mm-hmm. He said that, and I was talking to him the other day, he said the amount of people in there and the amount of people that were so into it was like Super Bowl-esque to compare it to like us football fans. Mm-hmm. That's how much they were into it. That's how like highly, and this was the opening game for Team USA. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it is out there. I mean, there is, obviously this is a big soccer area when it comes to youth soccer and such, or you know, high school and obviously the Blue Golds having success too. But when it comes to the fandom, it took him back a little bit.
This is what you hear about a lot. I hear about it a lot, that the passion for soccer around the world, reason why the Champions League final is the Super Bowl of soccer, but bigger. Mm-hmm. And to say nothing of the World Cup as well. You hear that, and it's very easy, understandably so, as an American sports fan, soccer's steadily rising and rising. I mean, it's way more popular now than even, let's go back to, say, 2010. Remember that World Cup? That was the South Africa one with the Vuvuzelas and such, and that was the one that convinced me to finally choose a Premier League team. That was around the time I kind of sensed that, like, people were choosing Premier League teams for their fandom. And you see more of that. It's still gradual, but it's picking up. But this is where you see, like, the fans coming over, but then also local fans when they congregate. If you see that, you go, okay, now you get it. You understand why. A lot of it has to do with the nature of the sport, why it can bring about such passions. Becoming a fan of a Premier League team is the only time I've chosen to be a fan of something where my passion greatly increased, as opposed to, I suppose I'm going to root for this team. Okay. Like, unless it's set in when you're much younger, your formative years, it's probably not going to stick. Have you ever found yourself like choosing a team to root for when you're older and it doesn't really...
Older, but even younger.
Yeah.
I tried to be a Red Wings fan as a kid, and I just couldn't do it.
It's got to lock in for a certain reason. Mm-hmm. I did not expect becoming an Aston Villa fan was going to lead to some of the more stressful sports experiences of the 2010s, because they kept almost getting relegated, and then they finally were. And I'd be bummed out on weekends. I did not see that coming. Like, no, they lost again. They're going to get relegated. It's the nature of the sport. Like, one goal makes such a difference. 2-1, like hockey. You know, I'm talking about playoff hockey, but it's kind of they're similar sports in that regard. I think that leads to a lot of the passion. A whole lot of other elements as well all lead to that soup that brings it about. And you're seeing it now here in America. It's fun too. I would maybe recommend that try not to choose a favorite team, because, like I said, if you get in, you're going to be in. Mm-hmm. I know we've bounced back and forth like, hey, could you choose is there a favorite Premier League team for you? Might I recommend, if you haven't really gone all in on one, don't. Just enjoy it, because if you do, you're going to have a whole nother level of sports interest and passion that it will occupy you a lot, more than you expect. If you are in, you're really going to be in.
Nice.
That's a bit of a warning, but it's a good thing. Like, right now, Aston Villa's going to the Champions League the second time in 3 years. They just won their first trophy since the 90s. They won the Europa League. Like, it feels really good to be a fan right now. That's the reward, but there's also risk involved with that.
Really quick, because we got to take a break, but Surveyor says, how about the massive upset of Cape Verde?
Cape Verde, yeah.
Holding dowsing to is it dowsing? Dowsing? It says dozing on there.
Yeah.
To a 0-0 draw lead behind a 40-year-old goalkeeper. The World Cup has been awesome so far, and the U.S. game made me so proud to be an American. With the national anthem, made me tear up a bit. So.
Yeah.
All right, really quick, because we're out of time. We got to take one more break before the top of the hour. We'll be right back after these quick words.